University of California, KUCR, here at NAMM in Anaheim 2023, and we're talking with Thomas Banks of Shure, and you've been with the company for 17 years.
Yes, I have.
And over that time, you've been doing your traditional microphones, of course, the SM57, the SM58, and so on, but you have a lot of microphones here. This is the most full-service microphone company, I think, in the history of the world. Could you tell us some of the history of Shure and what the mission of Shure is?
What the mission of Shure is? That's a great question. Shure's been around since 1925, so we're getting close to celebrating our 100th here soon. And I think, Sidney Shure, our founder, was always looking to provide the premium solution, right, for the customer, right? So I think our slogan was something along the lines of, we know we can never achieve perfection, but we'll never stop trying, right? So that's kind of what we're out there for, trying to give people solutions to meet them where they live, right, which is audio, right? And audio for us is where you might be, which may not be where you were yesterday. Might have been a broadcast booth, right? Might have been XLR. Today maybe it's ones and zeros and it's digital content over USB. But transduction is transduction, right? We're all talking about taking air and turn it into an electrical signal. That's what we do. We're the front end of the signal path, right? So we do transducers, right? And whether that transducer goes down to an XLR or whether it goes out to a USB, we're still taking air and we're turning it into an electronic signal. So that really hasn't changed, right? That element is still physics. It's still where we live. We live at the beginning of that transduction path. Where it goes after that, that's up to you. Different people have different processes, different platforms, and different paths for content creation and the things that they do to output their product, right? But it really hasn't changed, in the sense that people are still looking to turn something around for a group, whether it's a radio station, or a band cutting a record, right? You're still looking to capture voice or instrument and put it down somewhere, whether it's a file or cutting an acetate, So in some senses, things haven't changed. In other senses, the way people are doing that capture has changed a lot. So we're trying to take, I think, our value and bring it to where people live, right? Maybe it's not in a garage with an XLR mixer. Maybe it's like in an office or, in a laptop or a desktop, right? People do content creation in such different ways nowadays than they used to, but they are still looking for solutions that they can trust, right? And that's why we see people coming back to things like the 57 or the 58 or an SM7, right?
Well, yeah, the we use the SM7 at the university, by the way, quite a bit. And also the SM57, the SM58 are iconic microphones. And not only are they used almost universally, they are also very, very durable. I've heard someone say that they could, or maybe they said they did, pound a nail with an SM57, and it still works. So Shure seem to be unusually robust. Do I have that right?
No, you're quite correct. I mean, I think that's our value. I know that's part of our history. It goes very far back with us, just defining products to make sure that they'll withstand the rigors of daily use. And I think that got us a lot of traction in the rock and roll world, right, where people maybe aren't the kindest to their gear, and at clubs and performance venues where stuff gets used day in, day out, right? But that's what we pride ourselves on, right?
Shure microphones are sold worldwide for an enormous number of applications, but we're here at NAMM, which has a focus on music, pro audio. What are the microphones that you're featuring here today that really work with that area?
Well, we have all the usual suspects out here, the 57, the 58, the SM7. But then we've got some digital versions of those, which again, I said is where people are kind of living and creating these days on laptops and desktops. So we've got digital implementations of those tried and true mics. We've also got wireless solutions for people. But largely we're talking about recording and performing and reinforcement applications for live sound and recorded sound. That's kind of what we do here at NAMM, and it goes very, very far back into our DNA as a company. So we're always happy to be here at NAMM.
What do you find performers of some maybe a higher level performers using on stage? Are they using an evolution of the SM58, or are they still using the SM58?
You know, it really depends on the performer, and I think everyone has different ears, and you know they like what they like. So we're trying to make solutions that are tailored for their various different needs. People use our classic, dynamics. They also use our classic condensers like a KSM9. We also have a new technology that we put into this space, right? So we have dual diaphragm technology that we have in microphones like the KSM8, right? And those will give you like increased working distance, better, less proximity effect. So things that are benefits for a performer, maybe in a louder stage or a hotter stage where there's more things going on and you need better rejection, better pickup. So,
what's it like working at such an iconic audio company such as Shure is for the time that you've worked in it? Have you seen the company change over the years, and how so?
I'm lucky. I'm very fortunate. I love my job. It's a great culture. It's great people. Really happy to have been there and have come up in the company. It's an exciting place to work where people are really passionate about their jobs. You know, our CEO, Chris Shavink, is an amazing leader, and she's come up through the company, has been there and done pretty much every hat on her way up. So we're really excited to be there. It's a great company, great brand. I'm really proud of it, and we're proud of what we do.
You happen to be standing next to some products I have not seen before, Shure headphones. Could you talk about these for a moment?
Absolutely. I think it grew out of our space. You know, we've done headphones over time and back in history. But I think our current listening line, maybe it's about 20 years old now. I don't want to go back that far, but we have headphones that are wired headphones for studio tracking, mixing, and monitoring. They'll be used in a studio application for that. We consider them to be durable, you know, flat. So they're professional use for like studio mixing. And that's like our 440s and our 840s right here. These are great. These are tracking headphones, right? So they're standard headphones for that kind of professional use that you're probably used to. We also have consumer listening headphones and earphones, right? So these are a little bit more modern in the sense that these are Bluetooth headphones, right? So they're wireless, they're tailored for a consumer use, but we still care about everything that we present in terms of a feature set. So these have great drivers, they sound great. They are wireless. We load them up with all the high quality codecs, so there's still a good audiophile feature story. We don't short any attention to the legacy connectors like your analog jack. It still works with your analog jack. You can use all the DSP with your analog jack. We also support the USB jack, so if you want to do streaming over a wired connection, we support high-res streaming over that. They're just laden with all the sorts of audiophile features you would kind of want if you were going to look for a consumer Bluetooth headphone from a company like Shure. So we're really proud of the Ionic 40, the Ionic 50. Those are our Bluetooth consumer headphones. We also have a whole line of earphones that kind of come out of our support for the PSM or the personal studio monitor industry that musicians would use on age to protect their hearing. But those are a bunch of earphones that we sell from, you know, basically $100 to $1,000 that use a lot of advanced driver technology, single or combinations of drivers that produce really accurate sound. So those are our MMCX earphones for consumers and professionals.
Now, Shure is an iconic company, as I've said, and because you've been very successful, a lot of people like to imitate Shure and say, hey, you can get Shure quality for a lower price. Why choose Shure versus competitors who might be imitating?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I wish everybody would imitate Shure, right? In terms of providing like a solid product with quality, and if anything goes wrong with it, we'll pick up the phone, right? So we have a really good company that has very strong customer service and support. We design the quality going in, so we hope you don't have any problems, but if you do, we're there, and we'll stand by our products.
This is I think very, this is oh,
no, it's okay.
Solving problems again, Thomas.
Yes, always solving problems.
Yeah. So one of the things I find about Shure is that You get a new Shure, it sounds just as good as an old Shure, and they just last and last, and the company stands behind the product.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. We always stand behind the product, and I mean, it's not easy to manufacture a product. I mean, I think that's part of the thing is, there's the technology, right? But a lot of it is consistency, and there's so much that might appear mundane that goes into making a microphone, but it's really like not just making the microphone once, right? It's making the microphone again and again and again and again and again over decades, and making sure that it's the same sound you always get. When you go to that microphone, you know you're going to get this sound and you're going to get this value out of that microphone. Trying to create that across decades and maintain that value, I think, is really where we shine, right? And that's, yeah.
Thomas Banks, thanks for the time. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much for coming by. I love to talk about this. So thank you for coming out.
University of California, KUCR, here at NAMM 2023.